The soundtrack that starts playing when you open the door.
Right, right.
Welcome to Jane Brick's Halo Room. Enjoy it in all of its splendor and glory here. So if you want to take us through and show a few of your favorite models and kind of how this room came together.
Yeah, so this is room 117, and it is dedicated, it's basically a shrine to the world, of the universe of Halo, and mostly the Mega Bloks, formerly, and now Mega Construx official sets that they've made. They have made quite an impressive body of work. I have only a fraction of the products that they've actually done here, but I've got mostly their stuff with the full builds in their original forms, just posed up. The general idea of what you're looking at here with all these setups on the table is that it's intended to be kind of a museum in universe, kind of a military history museum, if you will. So you see figures that are looking at the installation. So all the stuff that's back here on these kind of texture terrain plates is just static. You know, it's kind of like almost a natural history sort of museum.
I love that. No, that's an awesome idea.
And then these are just, you know, soldiers, current and former, that are walking through and just, you know, remembering it, because, you know, they love the stuff. You know, they love to fight. They love the vehicles, and they remember the encounters and everything. So that's kind of how I had the explanation for its existence. And it just came about from all the sets that I've reviewed from the company, and, you know, having a lot of stuff that I like the look of. I like Halo itself. Halo 3 is my personal favorite, but I've played all the Halos, you know, including even the little tablet ones that they've done. And I like the look of the stuff. And finally, when we moved to this house, I had this extra little extra bedroom, and was able to get a good word in with the wife, and
negotiate things.
Yes,
like you do.
Yes. And so certainly the most proud thing in this entire room for me is the collection of the minifigures, or they call them micro action figures. There are over 700, and this isn't even all the ones I have yet, because some of the more recent ones haven't been categorized yet. But they are unique. There are no duplicates between these. So even if you see things that look very similar to each other, there will be just tiny differences. So like on those two ascetics, there are different colored lights on the fronts of their suits, their chest armor. But yeah, over 700 different, which is just an incredible body of work, because they actually sculpt these things, you know, by hand to create them, and then come up with all the different color schemes that are actually mostly canonical, you know, that actually would appear in one or another Halo game. And these are mixed through all the series. They started out with Halo Wars, was where they began the whole thing, and then you're looking at some Halo Wars 2 in there, mixed with some Halo 2, some ODST. You know, it's all mixed together. And yeah, this is a labor of love, collecting all of these. These are kind of the good guys mostly, with the Spartans all together up towards the top. I've intentionally mixed them together and not gone into like rainbows, you know, trying to get the colors, because they just keep coming out with so many new ones that it just would not be reasonable. I would go mad trying to keep them together, you know, keeping all the EODs. I tried to keep all the EODs together a long time ago, because there weren't too many of them, and that was my favorite helmet. But now it's mostly mixed with just some specialized ones in the front, and some of the well-known teams. In the kind of the centerpiece of the room, I have some other stuff it's not just the Mega Construx. This is, I believe, from Jakks Pacific, and got some of the different action figures. This is that's actually a recent Mattel figure, which is interesting because Mattel bought Mega Construx. This guy over here, sorry, I'm going against the direction you're going, but this guy was the first Master Chief figure I ever owned. Which was actually made by Mega Bloks. It was their version of large action figures, so kind of their construction form, which uses magnets. So there are magnets inside all of the joints. And then this is the latest that they've done, which is kind of like BrickHeads, but they call it Kubros, and they actually, I think, brought theirs to market first. And it's a little bit different style and design. yeah, you'll see just some various little pieces of memorabilia from the series. I even have my own actual Spartan. This is an official Microsoft licensed 3D printing of my actual Spartan from Halo 5 presently, so you can actually get you can get your Spartan printed up. Costs a lot, but it's worth it for a true fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you might be. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I mean, possibly my first console in the modern age was a Halo edition Xbox 360, maybe. But yeah, and some of the rarer things, some of the different things. Actually, believe it or not, these are actually Mega Bloks as well. Another thing that they tried were these little miniature scale, I think smaller than half size ones.
Almost like gaming type of pieces.
Yeah, just they're just trying different things out. I appreciate their willingness to try different scales and different types of pieces, to get different builds in. Not all of it has worked out, but some of it certainly has. And also on the walls, we have some very, very special gifts because each of those are one of a kind. When the Mattel acquisition occurred, I had a pretty good relationship with the kind of community manager for Mega Bloks, and he was going to be on his way out of the company, and he got together with a bunch of the employees that have been watching my work for a while and put together a care package for me. So
wow!
These are actually original, handmade sketches of box art that eventually ended up becoming real products. So the products themselves have the final versions of these, but this is where it all began. So
yeah, this is beautiful work. I mean, to see kind of that behind the scenes like that, you can tell all the artistic work that goes into creating that box art.
Yeah, the amount of talent that is behind product designers for toys is just incredible. And it's something that Mega Construx in particular has done especially well is with their figures, because they've got them very well articulated these days. Let me see if I can pull out a good example of something that is particularly well articulated and has good expressions on it. So they sculpt the head out. This isn't one of the better ones, I guess, but they sculpt the heads, and then you have all these. It's a full action figure. It's
bends at the elbow and everything.
It's more articulatable than much larger action figures frequently are. So fortunately they do these for non-Halo themes as well a little bit. But these individual armor pieces are interchangeable. Like you can take that off, you can swap the heads. They're just pop and swap off. The armor piece on the outside, might not be able to get this one off just right now, but yeah, that comes off. That's a standardized, and they have different standardized centerpieces, so it's very easy to make custom creations by doing what they call in the community pop and swap, jobs, just swapping things off. But it's just a tremendous amount of work that these folks do, and it's all done to begin with by hand, and they also do some sculpting, especially nowadays, digitally. But yeah, the figures I'm really happy about, and then also up above on top of the shelf there, I've got the Forward Unto Dawn, the redone Forward Unto Dawn, the Halo 4 and Beyond, or 343 era one. It's very controversial because they changed the design of it between two games.
Okay.
Because they changed game developer. But this is what the Forward Unto Dawn would have looked like when it was whole, before it was split at the end of Halo 3.
Yeah, that's all fascinating. Now, obviously, a lot of our viewers would be familiar with LEGO conventions and kind of how those work. Are there similar things for kind of Mega Construx and Halo?
So there have been some kind of get-togethers of the Halo-specific Mega Construx fans, but it's been relatively small, and oftentimes they've attached to Halo, actual Halo fests, Halo conventions. There's a fairly strong community out there. A lot of people do the customization. They will actually do paintings. It's a big thing of repainting the figures to make them more realistic, or to make them custom to look like an individual's, real Spartan in game or something. But it's not as big as Lego, but it's still very worthwhile, I think. And they have a lot of different pieces that, like I said, that they use that that Lego doesn't. And then in some cases, Lego is now making pieces that Mega has done for years. That are just small, reusable things that allow you to change the direction of building, a positive stud on the top, positive stud on the bottom, stuff that requires so many pieces or strange techniques, behind the scenes to do in Lego. So, they've done some pretty cool stuff. They had a bad reputation, and deservedly so, early on. Some of their early stuff just wasn't high quality. They hadn't gotten their molds together, their quality control wasn't good, and their piece fitment, their clutch power was very inconsistent. But since middle of 2013, they really started investing. You can just see the difference in quality on their parts now. And it's in many cases up to par with the best in the business. And in some cases, I feel like they actually go together better than what I'm used to from Lego.
Really?
Lego parts.
Yeah, well, that's impressive. So it's great to see this much place, because I think with the limited amount of collectors out there, then you don't see this all together.
Yeah,
real often.
yeah. And I've done just a handful of custom builds. So most of these things here are the official sets, but I've customs. Or this little guy right here, which is kind of like a miniature Wraith, like a one-person Wraith, and that used just so many of their specialized pieces, which is amazing to work on that small scale. And then another one is this old Forerunner Guardian, before Halo Guardians actually came out. It was just my idea of a Guardian that they would have left on a planet to kind of watch its development over time. I've got the energy swords used for kind of its eyes there for just a little different texture. And then if you can swing all the way around to this side of the room, one other build, more of almost a Call of Duty looking thing, just an APC. It's actually detailed on the inside and has a turret that can change its elevation and turn around. I could actually have a couple of different possibilities for the turret on that one. It holds a bunch of people inside and stuff. I would really like to be able to have some time to work on some more custom things, because it's
so
really
many
fun.
collections pulling you in.
So many collections, yes.
There's just too much cool stuff out there. These companies, they're too good at pulling you in.
But at least I get to enjoy having this room here. I come into here, I bring friends in.
Sure. Particularly Halo fans, I'm sure.
Yes.
The soundtrack that starts playing when you open the door.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. So thanks so much for taking us around here and showing us the whole Halo collection.
Right on. Thanks.